Alright. So now we got exeme, and then we also have the classic give advice for both sides. So I'll be taking a look at both. You were asking specifically opened up easily for defense, and then struggling on offense. So kind of a little bit of everything, but I'll keep a lookout. Was this the first game? Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I'm not. Okay, good. My bad.
Let's do this in one take. Action.
So for neutral, not overextending into the assist. Good confirm. Mix. Kill. Tag her back in. Resetting all at full and dizzy. So it's going to be pretty scaled. Where's the burst bait? Not quite a burst bait. Okay. Finally returned to neutral. Undizzy is the same. We're gonna be... Oh, got them not blocking. Where... Yeah. It's just a little awkward. So, first and foremost, the thing I'm noticing for Oleander is there seems to be a heavy reliance on beat extend for neutral. Pressure for incoming. Yep. Wrong SBO. Good reaction. And so far, the Vela's looking pretty good. Neutral is solid. You're never overextending into the beat extend. And then, so far your on-head game's been looking good. So let's see what pressure you're struggling to deal with. Oh, you know. Yes. Not quite. Oh! You can burst here. 100% you can burst here and it saves your character. You can burst before the snap sends you off screen. And then so, going back to this initial hit then. Okay, no, yeah, you did everything right to keep it safe. It's not like the optimal corner carry. But I think here you can still snap and get the happy birthday. I'm pretty sure you're close enough to the corner. Oh yeah. Snap, no connects after stun heavy punch, and they're 100% close enough to the corner for you to still get the double snap. Ends up going through anyway, because they got knowledge checked. Or no. Beat extend. Good throw. You can punish this. Oh, that's really weird. What in the world? You had the right idea. Good mix. Half a counter. Get the hell out. Yeah. This is what happens when you really start relying on down back plus assist for defense. You will get thrown. And if you start up backing, you run the risk of getting caught before your assist actually does its thing and getting double stepped. So this is not to say using beat extend for defense is a bad idea. It's just know how to play without it. Because currently exeme is showing 100% that they know how to deal with it. Oh, unfortunate drop. One final chance. Good blocks. Very brave button push. What were you doing on Val? What was the situation that happened? Okay, you just didn't recognize it was your turn. And got pressed on, and by the time you tried to press, it was a little too late. Mashing. Is this kill? I do. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Get very patient neutral. Snap. Okay. Yep. Okay. So this is a thing I've wanted to see a little bit. I haven't noticed it fully. For Oleander, taking your turn after your assist, you buy a lot of time and respect and you force them to block it when they don't throw you. And so it is your turn to press. I would recommend you do a high or a low afterwards, but sometimes the jab still catches them thinking it's their turn. So kill half the team. Nice overhead. Okay. So yeah. It was kind of unfortunate, exeme, that you ended up push blocking the assist. If you had push blocked something else, you might have been able to buy yourself more time, but more often than not, you're likely holding 2 layers anyway, and so this is kind of just fortune doing fortune things. Oh! The cat scratch after this. Just Rekka's give you a confirm and to slide. I think you also can feral edge here and catch them. It gives you the corner, and you don't even need to do the sneeze pickup because you have the corner, so you just pick up with jab. Or if you want to be really sweaty, you might be able to do 2 HP fiber. But return to neutral. Actually, what? Let me look at what situation you were. Okay, yeah, you were just on pressure maxing EKG. Docks into the corner. Really good air throw. So, for example here, and obviously you can always be afraid of scalpels, and I don't know if this was the case, but you see them have push blocked something in the air, so you know exactly where they're going to be when the push block ends. So what you'll start seeing players do is they will start either trying to time a throw or a meaty button right after the push block, so they either throw them out of the push block or you catch them trying to tech. And then if they block it and push block you out, they're still landing on the ground where you can IAD back in on them, force them to block another string, keep up your pressure a little bit more. Usually by that time your assist's back. But yeah, so that's just timing your pressure around their push blocks, especially in the air, because they stall in the air after their air push block. So you know they can't ever like land too quickly and avoid getting air thrown, etc. Back to neutral. Yeah, you can afford to play a really patient game here as Fortune. Force the Valentine to approach you. Oh no. Good awareness, good route. And they're dead.
That's all, folks. This battle is all in the mind. Let's rock.
Very patient round start. Would encourage you, although it was a little bit awkward avoiding the projectiles and stuff. Like if you jab here, you hit the assist and check her approach, and then you can use your assist to keep their assist in the game and lock them down. Try and get one more mix on them for Oleander. We called it just straight out round start, right? Okay. Reasonable range to be calling any DP. You look prepared to try and defend it with your crosses. Double jump out. Take space aggressively, mistime the throw. Bash. We want to dash up to okay, got caught approaching. Air threat. Oh, good throw. Mix. Good throws. Catch them low. Expecting a throw attack. Good for one bar, right? Oh yeah. And you get the corner. Full and dizzy, what's your pressure? Burst bait. Oh, drops the heavy counter hit. So, the thing I talked about... Oh, they don't actually... They don't block that. Never mind. I was gonna talk... Same thing I mentioned to Oleander. Following up pressure behind your assist. Granted, they were still definitely too afraid to press a button, so it's more often than not your turn anyway. But, yeah, if they're really afraid of your assist, I can understand you might have been afraid of theirs as well. PBGC get hit. Pillar of Creation. Fortunate. Get caught slacking just a little bit. Good patience. Up forwards into the assist. Don't get burst baited. Yep. So I'm gonna go back to. So you're not catching her before she finishes charging. So you have two options here. You have the really patient, just play her game, like we were talking about earlier this evening. Play her game, be dash blocking, try and do options that don't get you caught, and air. Was it earlier? It was earlier. Air dashing is a pretty committal option, especially when you can't react out of it. The other option you have is to say, I'm going to be really aggressive and not let you do this, and just sting her. It has so much hit stop and travels so quickly that unless she's doing this practically full screen, you will catch her and she won't be able to block it. You won't get a combo after, but you'll be closer and you'll have prevented her from getting charge. So it depends on how much you value your meter and how much you want to prevent her from doing this. If you do it too often, that then leads to the mind games of they start like charging for a second and then predictively stop to bait you into doing something, a full screen option. So that is a thing to be looking out for. But yeah, so sorry, I got sidetracked slightly. Those are kind of the two ways to think about this. I forget the frame data on that. There's no way that's safe, is it? Oh right, it is plus on more. I forgot about that. Never mind, okay. Good punish. Right, and that was where we swapped to Annie point. So, a general like preface, Annie's offense tends to be largely based around lower throw, and so you cannot tech throws while you are blocking low in this game. So you have a couple pretty strong lows, and you have a really large grab range. You don't actually have that great of like an instant overhead. Your air dashes are pretty slow and reactable. They can work, but usually they require your opponent to be thinking or respecting other options. So you're trying to kind of play a spacing, control-y neutral, and then get close enough to the point where you can try and just low throw them. And then once you're in, Annie has incredibly strong on-hit options. And so that's kind of what you're trying to use. So yeah, you use this to just cover the screen, force them in the air. You tried to check them with an air-to-air, makes sense. And then, yeah, okay, yeah, you got to cross up afterwards. Pretty standard, straightforward anti-neutral. Unfortunate drop. One could argue when you're here, you could be trying to get an H Crescent out. How do you save T2? You don't, you just go for mix. Right. We want a DP. I think DP still loses here. THC. Oh, you don't have a meter. Okay. Never mind. Fortunate drop, return to neutral. Highly recommend dash blocking. You can block while dashing in this game. Which is very useful. A little too afraid. Could confirm. Patient neutral. What was the option you went for? Forward jump medium kick. Don't know if I'd recommend that for a wake up. You crossed up timpani. Bait. Doesn't get a punish, but you run up throw. Alright, you have the charge. Oh no! So you just did all of this work. I also assume this was meant to be an alpha counter. You just did all this work to save your you save your Squiggly, and then she should be dead here. Yep. Like, assists are important for neutral, but keep in mind they're not invulnerable. And if you're gonna put in all the work to try and save that assist, it feels really bad to then just lose it immediately afterwards. So, like, try and be thinking about your assist calls always in neutral, because autopiloting them can just get you killed. Just a little bit of spaghetti. I think I see you do this a fair bit, Oleander, and it's something I'm guilty of too when I play Fortune. Jab is a great button, but overuse of it means you're not actually going to open people up because it's a mid. You are in the perfect space right here. Just catch them with 2LK. 2LK, and then if you want to do medium kick, heavy kick into that route, or if you want to do 2 HP, or 2LK, 5 HP, cat scratch. Like, you have a ton of different ways to convert it, but this is like the bread and butter distance for you to be trying to just catch them with a low. Because this pressure is just 3 mids in a row. And so actively threatening a dash up low, as well as IAD overhead, just in neutral, is really important for making your fortune scary. This is not to say dash up jab will never work. It will catch a lot of people. It's a really fast option and a really big button. But if they're very inclined to just keep blocking, let them, and then tell them to hold the 50-50 rather than a mid. It's a little awkward. What were we afraid of as the Annie? I think we might have just not realized how close we'd end up getting placed to them. Because that is definitely a place for you to press like falling jump medium punch, or jump medium kick, or jump heavy punch, depending on how quickly you react, / how aggressive you want to be with it. And then you were doing really well about this on Valentine, and this might be because your Annie is a little bit newer, I'm afraid, but like here is a great time to throw. And again, Annie's throw range is one of the largest in the game. Highly encourage you to go for it more. Low throw is going to be your main way of actually opening people up on Annie. So being willing to throw on the character is really important. Because while she is an air dasher, her air dash is actually not all that great at opening people up. We'd really like to commit to Helmbreaker, and it's a slower option. It's like, it's something you press in niche situations, because you also very rarely actually get conversions off of it. Get files. Play neutral. Oh, I don't know about doing it a second time. The band seems really patient. And like, there goes all your meter, unfortunately. Yep. After you push block a band out, always be expecting the giant step after. It is their distance pressure tool to like extend after PB. Be paying attention to the time, because you were the life leader. Okay, how do we approach this? Is that just dash under? No, jump over. It's not really your turn to press here, but it ended up working. So. Oh! There we go.
Looks like I found a new scratching post.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Helmbreaker is not really a neutral tool. Like, in most of the places you're placing it, jump heavy punch is not the helpful thing to be swinging, but in general, any in the air is kind of clunky. So it's usually you're trying to press the really low commitment really quick and somewhat disjointed buttons. So jump light kick, jump medium punch, jump medium kick are pretty good, and they're like jump light kick and jump medium kick are really good on rising. Jump medium punch is typically better while falling. Jump heavy punch is kind of your big slow, I'm gonna push a big space control option in the air, but it will not just auto win neutral for you. Jump heavy kick kind of just auto loses neutral for you if you're ever wrong about it, because it hardly ever, like, you're pressing a button that has some of the easiest punishes in the game that also has some of the lowest rewards in the game, because you need to spend meter to convert off of it as long as you're not an install. Or have an assist that just happens to be there. So I would definitely discourage you from using this button, especially as much as you are. Then heavy punch. I'm pretty sure this is the same distance as we saw in like one of the earliest games. Stand heavy punch snap here probably still brings them close enough to the corner. And if you were going for just normal cat scratch instead of CSF, again, that snap is not a real thing. If they can burst the snap, they can prevent themselves from flying out of the game. Flying off the stage. How'd that not punish, really? Wait. Does this kill? I don't think it does, right? Oh! Okay. This actually would have killed. I hadn't paid attention if you have OTG. If you have OTG, head roll actually combos off of this. And it'll be a burst, but they have so little remaining health that the hit will actually just kill them straight up and they won't be able to burst it. And then you just put your head back on and do head-on incoming if you're not comfortable playing headless. You have to do it immediately after CSF, but it will combo and kill them. Oh, not punishing the raw tag. Overextending. Again, except this is for the other player this time, same point. Be very careful about calling your assists when they're on incredibly low life. Not gonna say never do it, just like really think about when and why you're doing it. Because losing a character better have a really good reason behind it. Okay, I respect it. Good call out. To that point, Oleander, it seems like you might need to tone down the mashing. Or at least think about why they know when you're gonna mash. I understand y'all probably have a lot of games, and so y'all know each other's playstyle really well, but that's a pretty big call out. Yeah, so again, to reiterate the point, like, you got a clean hit of it in neutral. You got a chunk of damage, but you'd much rather have combo and control of the game into mix. So it's not a button I'd encourage heavy use of. Very good use of jump medium kick there. Yep. Pressure. Band barely breaking the combo. Yeah. Bam. Oh, that's weird. That's... You have all the time in the world here. If you punish this with a normal, you get a lot more damage, and you get more Indizzy to work with. Oh, mistimed it. Death. Take the corner back. I agree. What's the mix? Pull yourself into the corner and get hit. Unfortunate. So what option did we choose? We tried to land on it with falling jump light punch, okay. Good blocks. Oh! Good reactions. Oh no! That can't have been what you wanted. What a throw. So, Squiggly quarter-circle forward light kick is not something I'd recommend you use in neutral. Like, it's kind of sketchy on block because it's technically plus, but push blocks change everything. Oh, you were willing to just keep pressing. Both of you are. Okay, that's your last meter. Overhead. Kill. Yeah, okay. That's the end of that. So, I don't know if I necessarily noticed anything like really bad habits for your defense, exeme. Like, Val is a character who does not have great defensive tools, so you do rely a lot on your defense. You can't threaten matches remotely as much. I just felt like you kind of stopped mashing EKG, which is a super that can work, especially because Annie can DHC after it. We saw it a couple at the start, but in general, your defense looked more or less fine. You just ended up, a lot of the times you got opened up were just because Oleander was actually doing a pretty good job of making sure they got 2 or 3 attempts at opening you up after you blocked an assist. If you had anything specific in mind, please shoot me a ping, and I'll gladly like watch through the VoDs again and try and look for those things specifically. And if you have a timestamp that like to direct me to exactly what you're thinking you might be missing something on, I'll gladly like that would help a lot if you had any specific defensive concepts in mind. But other than that, I don't think we saw PBGC much. And so the one like addendum, or not addendum, but the one other side to PBGC is obviously, you know, like PBGC reversal. Your character, well, Valentine specifically, doesn't have great ways to use that. There's some not awful ones, but if you get a feel for your opponent's block strings and like where the gaps are, if you push block and notice your PBGC window is going to be during a large gap, you can also just threaten PBGC jab. Or any other very fast acting option. And sometimes you just catch them because they're like, they kept on pressing because, oh, it's a block string. There's not a gap here, but PBGC makes gaps places. And you might be able to catch them off guard doing that. Other than that, I think you can afford to throw them a little bit more. You do it more on Valentine. Annie is an incredibly good throw-oriented character. We talked about it a little earlier. Low throw. Her throw is nuts. If you're dealing with someone who likes to do down back beat extend, it's gonna do tons of work for you. And then if you want a thought process about discussion, I talked about how Oleander seems to be incredibly reliant on the beat extend assist. A thing to consider if you notice a player heavily relying on one specific assist, you can consider just snapping them in. It depends, again, on how much you want to spend meter. But it is an option if you want to try and keep advantage and just get rid of the problem of the system, force them to play defense and neutral without beat extent. There's definitely risks to it because Big Band's incoming game is pretty strong. But if you get used to playing around it, it might be something worth considering. But I think that's about all I have to say for that sort of stuff. And I covered a couple other things pretty in depth during the games, so not necessarily worth beating a dead horse in the recap. And yeah, if you have any other concerns, again, shoot me a ping, preferably with a timestamp, and I'll gladly readdress or try to explain something I may have missed.